All right. So here we are. This is our last class together. And what I want to do tonight is I want to show you a couple of extra things that I think you're going to find helpful. So I want to start off by saying to everybody that if you intend to, we have, today is what, Tuesday. So we have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. There's 4 days left. 4 days to do assignment week 4 and to make up any work that you might have left to do. What I would like to tell you is I think it's going to be very important for you to try to put your focus on week 3 assignment, because without week 3 assignment, you're not really going to be able to do week 4. So, don't go back to week 1, don't go back to week 2, focus on week 3 so that you can then do week 4. Now, last night I went over the buttons and I went over the layout, so I'm not going to go over all of that again. I'm just going to touch a few points because, again, I'm trying very hard to impress upon you what I would really like you to do. First of all, I have the buttons up here, and what I really want you to do is to take a very good look at these buttons and see how I'm creating them. These buttons need to be simple and clear and understandable. They can't be complex. And I went in and I showed you exactly how I approached this. I took the logo, the Target logo and the Walmart logo. I came in and traced those, and I used them in my buttons. And I went through this last night, so I'm not going to go through it again. And then I went in and I found these very appropriate little simple black and white graphics online, which I also traced. And since I'm using somewhat dark colors in the background, I put them in white sitting in the foreground, okay? So that's basically all you need to do, is to find the appropriate symbols to put in front of your little buttons. And of course the buttons are based on, and I did the same thing with my my buttons for the Home Depot. I used symbolism that would be appropriate for Home Depot in much the same way as I did this. And again, it's very simplified, very button-like. That's the most important thing, okay? So that's the first thing that you want to do, is you want to get these buttons done. Now, the important thing for you to understand is that these buttons were created in Adobe Illustrator. I also went in and I created my map art, the art that I'm using for my panels and my maps. I also created them in Adobe Illustrator. So it's very easy for me to do something like this. Now, you see, this is ungrouped, okay? But if I click and drag over this whole thing together and go Object Group, I now have a grouped object of that button, all right? And it's easy for me to select that object and go Edit Copy, and then go over to my project file, which is right here, okay? And go Edit Paste, and okay, well, it's telling me I'm on a locked layer. Okay, but it came in. There it is. So there's my button, but you can see how gigantic this button is. And what I'm going to do with this button is I'm going to scale it down. And I believe I scaled it down to somewhere around 50%. Let's see if that's correct. It's not quite correct. Let's try 25. 25. Let's try that. Actually, I think 25. Nope, not quite. Let's say 20. Let's say 18. Let's try 18. And there we go. I think 18 might be okay. Let's see. Hit OK. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this over here and I'm going to see what it looks like compared. Yeah, it's about right. Look at that. 18% is what I brought it down to. Okay. Now, why am I showing you this? I'm showing you this because I'm trying to give you an idea how I created my panel, this panel right here. Now, the first thing that you need to look at is this thing right here. Okay, I'm just doing this to give you some things to touch upon to remember, because you're going to be working on this stuff, and I want you to have some idea. I want to make sure that you have a very clear idea of how to go about doing this in the most simple way that you possibly can. This was provided for you. I used it. If I used it, you can use it. Why make something completely unique when you could use this little template? And part of the thing that we're talking about in this 4-week class is the use of templates, how to incorporate templates into things. Now, when I used this thing as a template, I didn't even change the gray background color, because I thought, the gray background color probably would be fine. So I basically left the gray background color, and then what I just did was I have a layer here. Let's see, my layers are here. I have a layer here, okay, and I have a layer that my graphics would go on, and a layer that my text would go on. So my background is on the background layer, okay, and my graphics would go on my graphics layer, and my text would go on my text layer. So you can see how I'm setting this thing up to actually use this thing, all right? So I'm going to go back out of here, and I'm going to go back to my project. And so you can see how I brought this thing in. And now this is a grouped object, and this is actually part of my, it becomes part of my layout. Now I'm going to delete this because it doesn't relate to this. I'm just simply trying to show you how I brought my buttons in and utilized my buttons when I was at that point. So I'll delete it. So the first thing I did was I brought in all of my buttons. Here are my 5 little buttons. And what I did on this was I created a series of layers. Okay? So here is my background layer, and my background layer is nothing more than my background panels, and that's the background panel that I got from my my original project. Okay? So there is my background, and it's on a background layer. All of my graphics appear on this graphic layer. All right. Now, the reason I did this, because originally they were not all on this layer. Actually, when I originally did this, I didn't have just a graphics layer. I had a background layer, okay, a graphics layer, and a type layer. Now, I have pictures and buttons. And that orange bar right there, those are graphic elements. Originally, they would be on a graphic layer. And the text, this and the text there, that text and that text, all this text would be on a text layer. What I did, okay, and I have a main logo right there. So what I did was, when I had this thing entirely built, I consolidated all the text elements and all the graphics elements onto the graphics layer. The reason I did this is because in my mind, I had completely designed the general look of my layout. It was completely done. And what I needed to do was I needed to build in the elements that would help me put together the functionality of this piece, which is basically a demonstration of how to get from the kiosk to each of these individual departments. Now, again, I'm going to say this to you. This is an incredibly simplified kiosk scenario. This is not one of your more complex kiosk scenario. We simply don't have the time to do something incredibly complex. So we're trying to do this in a simplified manner so that you get a very good idea of how this is supposed to work. And this is effective if you do it. So, all right, so now I have my background layer, which I'm not going to be doing any more work to, so I lock it. And I have my graphics layer, and you can see my graphics layer is basically complete, so I'm going to lock it. I have this main logo layer. Now, the reason that the main logo layer is on its own layer is because I only use that main logo on one panel, and that is my main navigational panel. The idea is that I am going to create a series of layers here. One is the main logo layer, one is the tool layer, one is the yard layer, one is the electrical layer, one is the painting layer, and one is the lumber layer. And the only thing that are going to be on any of these layers right here, they're just basically going to be little lines, little arrows that point from the kiosk to each individual department, so that when I get done, I end up with a series of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different PDFs that show different things. The main logo layer here is used to produce the main navigational panel. Okay, so the way this sits right now, I'd go File, Save As, or Save as Copy, and I would save this as a PDF right here. I'm going to go to my desktop. Let me go to my desktop, and let's go to, I'll show you where I did this. I'm not going to do it over because I've already done it. Let's see, there it is, I think. There we go. Nope, that's not right. Hold on. It's, there we go. Week 3 PDFs. So this is right now, DES Project 2 Map Copy, Adobe Illustrator. If I change this to PDF, okay, you can see here are all the PDFs that I've already made. I've already made all these. So I'm not going to do this again because I've already got them all made. And you can see, look, DES Project 2 Main Navigation. That's the one that I'm going to be producing right here. If I were to change this to that, I would just overwrite that one right there. And it's the same panel. So I'm not going to do it because I've already done it. I'm simply showing you how I did this. Okay? So I'm going to hit cancel here, and I'm going to hide the main logo. And then I'm going to bring up the tools. Okay? And all it is, like I said, all it is on the tools is just this one little arrow that points to the tools. So again, I'm going to go File, Save As, and this is going to become a PDF, and it's going to be saved, desktop, it's going to be saved again in PDFs, and this one here would be tools right there. See, DES-240 Project 2 Navigation Tools. So again, I'm not going to do this. I'm simply showing you so that you absolutely clearly understand what it is that I'm doing. So I'm going to hit cancel. I'm going to do the same thing for each one of these. Here's the yard, okay? And I would save this as a PDF. Here's the electric, and I would save this as a PDF. The painting, and I would save this as a PDF. And the lumber, I would save this as a PDF. So again, we go in here, and here are here's my main navigation, my navigation electric, navigation garden, navigation lumber, navigation paint, navigation tools, and welcome screen. Okay, so that is exactly how I set this up. It is simply one Adobe Illustrator file, just one. And on it, it has everything I need to change these panels to create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slightly different panels. Now, the majority of the art that's on each panel will be the same. The only difference would be that there's an element that's on this panel that is not on the others. There's this element which is only on this panel, and so on and so forth. Okay? That's basically it. Again, my goal was to try to do this in as simple a way as possible, knowing how much work that you guys have to do to make this happen. And again, I do appreciate it. I do appreciate the fact that you have lives, that things go on in your lives. I do really try to do everything I can in as simple a way as I possibly can, so that, you know, you guys can get this work done. So I really, really, really want to impress upon you how important it is. If I go to the View menu and I fit all in window, okay, you will see that there is only one artboard in here. And if I go to my artboard panel right here, okay, you'll see that there's only one artboard in here. So there's not 2 artboards, there's not 3 artboards, there's not 4 artboards, there's one. And this is done using layers. And what I do is I simply expose elements to create, in this case, the main navigation, this case, the tools, this case, the yard, and so on and so forth. Okay? That's basically it. So, again, The idea is to end up with a series of PDFs, all right? So I really do hope that, again, I'm not going to go through the whole process. I'm just going to give you some basic idea of how to do this in case you haven't already begun the process. You really do need to have buttons. These buttons are absolutely essential. If you don't have clearly defined buttons, then you're not really going to be able to do this project. You also need to have something which identifies how to get from the kiosk into a particular department. So a layer that has a little line that takes you from the kiosk to the tools is essential. A layer that has a little line that takes you from the kiosk into the yard and garden is essential. Electrical is the same thing. A little line is all it takes, but it is what makes this kiosk work. The fact that you can press on buttons and you can go and you can take a look at the departments. Now, what I'm going to do a little later on is I'm going to show you another really cool step that I took. And let me go in and show you something here. Let me go to course. Information, design, come on, you. And let's go to discussions, assignments. Where are you? There we go. Okay, so assignment for week 3. I just want to show you one thing because this is kind of important. I'm not making you do this. I'm doing this because I want you to see. All right, so hold on. Let me go down here. Let me scroll this down a little bit. Let me go down and find our metaphor assignments. Branded as stores. Let's see, location. Okay, here we go. The kiosk will be placed close to the entrance of the store and be used for customers to find their way around the store. Okay, so read this very carefully and understand this. They're going to use this kiosk to find their way around the store. That's why, on a very simple level, I've created a little line that goes from the kiosk to each individual department. And it's going to make the kiosk user-friendly and cohesive with the shopping experience and brand of the store, okay? So basically, to find their way around the store and be able to search to find the location of a specific item. So this is the second part, is what I want you to focus on for 1 minute. Because one of the things that I'm going to do tonight is I've created a series of 5 more panels. And I am going to add my 5 panels in to my project, and I'm going to show you how I can successfully modify my panels so that I can add this search element for a specific item. So that's the first thing that I want to do tonight, and I'm going to be working on that shortly. But I just wanted to point it out to you that I'm not showing you this for no reason. I'm showing you this because part of the assignment really is to consider this. And while you probably don't really have the time to do this, and I don't totally expect you to do this, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to show you how it can be done, and I'm going to give you an idea of how that looks when it occurs. It will give you an idea that if given the proper amount of time, and if you're working with people who, you know, really are motivated to make something like this kiosk work, you could come up with something pretty amazing. Okay, and again, I'm not saying what I did is terribly amazing, but it is heading in the direction of being amazing, and that's where we're heading with this. Okay, it could be, and this is something very interesting and actually not too much more difficult to do. It's just time consuming, which we don't have. All right, so that's it. I hope this is clear to you. And again, this is absolutely essential. Without making these panels, without creating these panels, here they are. There are my panels. Without creating those panels, and I'm using PDFs I'm creating PDFs to use because PDFs go into Adobe InDesign very well. So my feeling is that, you know, if we're going to do this in Adobe InDesign, probably the best thing to do, the quickest way to do this is to build the panels in Adobe Illustrator, build them one time, and make the modifications quickly and save them as PDFs and just load them right into InDesign, and bing, bang, boom, you're off to the races. All right? So there we go. All right, I guess that's pretty much it. I don't know that I have much more I can tell you about this. Oh, one thing. Yeah, don't forget, we also need a welcome screen. Now, I also created this welcome screen on its own unique Adobe Illustrator file. So again, what you would have to do is after you get your welcome screen, which you can go and make your welcome screen fancier if you want, but you certainly don't have to do much more than what I did right here. This is a perfectly appropriate welcome screen for our purposes. There's more at play here than just the actual graphics. The graphics need to be clean and they need to be appropriate for the store, and they should try to follow the branding. All that's true, but the bottom line is the functionality is what's most important here, and you need the elements in order to be able to do this functionality. So once I get this made up, this welcome screen made up, again, this is just nothing more than a save as, and we save it as a PDF. All right, and there's the welcome screen. It's right here, DES-240 Project 2 welcome screen, DES-240 Project 2 welcome screen. So you can see I've already got them built. This is the whole point. I've already done all this. I'm not going to do any of it again. I'm just simply walking through the process so that you can see how I did this, so it won't become completely strange to you, and I hope it won't. All right, so once again, since it's already there, I'll hit cancel. All right, that pretty much covers all the work that I have to do in Adobe Illustrator to make this happen. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be working in Adobe InDesign. Now, last night, all right, let me come in here and let me bring this back up. Bring that down. Okay, so last night I worked on this. And I showed you how to produce these pages, put these pages into InDesign. Let me go to the View menu and let's go to Display Performance High Quality. There we go. All right, so there's our high quality display. What I did last night was I showed you how to put these pages in here, okay? I put all these pages in here, and then I showed you how to set up layers. And basically, since all these elements that you see here are all part of one piece, it's a PDF. See how I'll hide the live buttons. There's the live buttons. All of this is just one big PDF. So I only need like one layer to put all that on, and I'm calling that layer artwork. Okay, and currently I have that layer locked. The other layer is my button layer, my live button layer. And what I did was I put all of my little buttons on this live button layer. And the reason I did that was because I basically wanted to arrange to have these buttons so that they were separate. They were completely separate from the artwork, just making it easier. And one of the things that I truly want to do with you is impress how important it is for you all as students to start considering in these programs. Now, keep in mind, Adobe Illustrator, Adobe InDesign, it's not Photoshop, so it's not completely mandatory that you use layers in a program like Illustrator or a program like Adobe InDesign. It's just a really good idea, because what it does basically is it gives you the opportunity to organize things. Like in my case, the artwork is all organized on the artwork layer. My live buttons are all on the live button layer. So if I wanted to show you how to do these buttons again, all I'd have to do is hide that layer and then create a new layer and call it New Buttons. All right. And I would be able to literally bring my artwork back up, and on my New Buttons layer, I could go in there and I could start redoing all of these buttons, and I could show you how to do all these buttons all over again. Now, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this because I don't think I need to do it. I think I went over it very well last night. And I have two things that I want to accomplish tonight, and I want to make sure that I get them done. I want to add at least 5 more pages to this particular document that I'm working on, and I want to link those 5 pages up, and I want to explain to you what those pages represent to me and how I'm linking them up and why it makes sense in the greater scope of this project. So in order for me to do that, I need a little bit of time to do this. So let's go edit, undo, okay? And this new layer button, I have no use for it. I'm going to throw it away. Okay, I'm going to unlock the artwork layer, and I'm going to hide the live button layer. I am on the artwork layer. So let's go back to our page panel. And what I want to do here is I have to add 5 more pages. So I'm going to click on 7 to select 7, and I'm going to add a new page. So there's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have added 5 more pages to this presentation. Okay? Now, what I did was I created in Adobe InDesign, when I first started working on this project, I created these 5 pages in Adobe InDesign. And then afterwards I thought, I probably should, since you're not really going to have to create them, I probably should just shortcut this. So I saved those 5 pages out of Adobe InDesign as JPEGs. So I have a series of 5 JPEGs. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put those JPEGs into these pages. And then once I put them into these pages, I'll explain to you what they are. So here's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to come over here, and once again, I'm just going to get my rectangle tool. And I like the rectangle with the X in it. The reason I like the rectangle with the X in it because I can see it. Okay? So there's my rectangle with the X in it. Now, one thing I think I would like to do, you know what? I think I'll just not. I was going to get rid of the margins on this, but it'd be too much trouble. So I'm going to create this shape, this rectangle shape, and I'm going to copy it, edit, copy, and then I'm going to go to, let's see, page 8. Yeah. What page was that on? Yeah, it's on 12. Okay, so let me go to page 8. And let's go edit, paste in place. Okay, so now there's one of those little frames on page 8. Let's go to page 9, edit, paste in place. And now there's one of those little frames on page 9. Page 10, edit, paste in place. And now there's one there. And page 11, edit, paste in place. All right, so now I have 5 pages. And interestingly enough, you can actually see the little X on here. So you know now that on each one of those pages I have a frame. The frame is what I'm going to use to place my graphics in. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with 8, number 8. Now this is very important, just like I did with pages 1 through 7. I made notes on my pad of what was on page 1, which is the welcome. Page 2 is the main nav. Page 3 is the tools. Page 4 is the garden. Page 5 is the lumber, page 6 is electric, and page 7 is paint. So I have notes on all this. So what I need to do now is I'm on page 8. I'm going to go with this frame selected. I'm going to go File, Place, and I'm going to come into my, see I have here, I got these images here. Do you see them? Those are the JPEGs. So the one is tools. And this is important. It doesn't really matter the order that you put these in. Okay, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that you keep a record of the pages that you put them in. That's what you got to do. So this one, tools 2, I'm going to hit open, and there's tools 2. Okay, it's been placed on page. Well, actually, it's been placed on 12, on 11. All right, so let me do this. Let me do this. Edit, undo. I didn't want it on. All right, let me go here and let me go to page 8 and we'll do it again. Okay, so page 8, I don't want that there. Okay, File, Place, and that's going to be Tools and Open. Okay, so page 8 is Tools. So I'm going to be making a note that page 8, right there, is Tools. See the logo? Tools. Okay, so now we're going to go to page 9. I'm going to select the frame, File, Place. Page 9 is going to be lumber. Hit open and File, Save. Page 9 is going to be lumber. And as I say, I'm actually making notes here because I have to start putting links into this. And in order to put links into it, I have to know where I'm going with this. All right. So now let's go to page 10, select the frame, File, Place. And this one is going to be garden. I actually passed on garden, so I'm putting it in there. And again, that doesn't really matter the order. You just got to keep track. So this is page 10, and it's garden. So this is garden. Okay. And now 11, go to 11, and select the frame. Because remember, You got to select the frame because you're actually placing it in the frame. File, place. And this one is going to be paint, and hit open. And there's paint. So 11 is going to be paint. Okay. And then 12 and file, place. 12 is going to be electric, and hit open. Up. See what I did? Forgot to click the frame. File, place. This is what you got to remember. And it's going to be electric, and hit open. There you go. Boom. Okay. File, save. There he is. All right. So now let's take a look at these pages. Let me go back up to 8, because what I'm going to do, if you remember what I did last night, I actually did this. See if you remember. What I did was I came in here. Let me go to my layers. And now that I have all my artwork placed on the layers, I'm going to lock that layer, and I'm going to click to bring the eyeball up on my live button layer. You may or you may not remember this, but last night what I did was I created my button here, my button here, 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 and here. I created all these buttons. Then what I did was I didn't copy this one. I copied this one, held the shift key down, and that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. So I copied all of these except that, edit, copy, and then I went to my next, and first of all, I connected them, all right? I mean, first of all, I turned them into buttons. Then I copied them. Then I went to my artboard, and I went to my first page here, and I pasted them, and they pasted as buttons. And I pasted the third one as buttons, and the fourth one as buttons, and so on until I reached the end. So that's what I did. I basically copied and pasted all the buttons. Now, the nice thing about this is by doing that, I have essentially made sure that everything's connected properly. Even though I did make a mistake in the lumber, you'll remember I fixed the one in the lumber because I made a mistake on it. But the bottom line is I had all of my buttons and they all fired because I did this as simply as possible. All right, so the same sort of thing is going to take place here. I've got 4 pages. If you take a look, there's 8, actually 5. 1, 2, and you see how similar they are? Like, for instance, you got that button up there on all of them. You got these buttons down here on all of them. The only one that's different is that button right there, okay? That button right there. The rest of these are the same, in the same position. That button right there is the same. That's different. These are the same, okay? And so on and so forth. Everyone except that button is different. So what does that mean? That means that all I have to do is go to 8 and make sure I'm on my live button layer, okay? And all I have to do is come in here and create my little, I'm going to create my little, what am I going on here? Okay, here we go. There we go, okay. I'm going to create my little buttons right here. Let's start off by creating our buttons right there. So here's that button, and then here's this button, and here's this button. All right, I'm creating all these little buttons. Okay, and let me just have a second to do it, and I'll explain to you what I'm doing. All right, so there's that one, and there's that one. Okay. All right, so I've created all the little shapes for my buttons. If I hide my artwork, okay, you can see my little buttons. Now, they're not buttons yet. They will be shortly, but they are the shapes for my buttons. Now, let me explain what I'm going to do with this. This button right here is the button that's going to take you back to page 2, the main navigational page. So when I set this up to be a button, that's going to go to my my main navigational page. That's assuming that's where you want to go, which is very possible. You may want to go there. So that's why that button's there. This button, since this is tools number 2, this button will take you to tools number 1. Why? Because we're already on tools number 2, and tools number 2 is on page 8. Tools number 1 is on page 3. So you'll see me do this in a minute. Then I got this one down here, which is paint. Now, this is going to take me to the, what I think I'm going to do with this is more more caring, more doing. What I thought I would do with this is I have a choice. I could either make this go back to the main paint, or I could make it go to the product paint. So it's going to be one or the other. I'm either going to go with one or the other. But the point is, I'm going to do this consistently on one of them. And just like I did last night, I'm going to copy and paste all of them onto the others. Why? Again, I'm trying to save myself a lot of energy, because if I were to do this on every single page, I'd have to make all these buttons, repeat them all, and this way I save myself the effort of doing that. Okay, so again, before I start doing this, I just want to explain to you what it is that I'm doing and why I'm doing it, so it kind of makes sense to you. All right, so let's do this. Let's select this first thing, and let's go to the object menu, and let's go to interactive and convert it to a button. Okay, so what happens is my buttons and my forms come up. Now, what did I tell you I was going to do with this? I was going to send this button back to the main navigational page, which is page 2. So my action would be go to page, and it would be page 2. So I click 2 and I hit enter. Now, when I do this, watch what happens. I'm going to put 1 in, and then I'm going to change it to 2. Okay? So you see how it's 2, and you see how it's white? The moment I hit enter, what that does is it essentially sets this button to read that. Now watch what happens when I click it. Okay, it comes up, button, go to page 2. Okay? So I just want you to clearly understand what I'm doing here. It's very important that you understand what I'm doing. The buttons and forms, what I do is I keep this is a panel that pops up. Once I have this panel out and I'm doing this work, what I do is I take this panel and I dock it right in here. And the reason I do that is because now I have it sitting here and I can keep track of it and I can work on it. Okay? All right, so let's do this button here. Now, what I'm going to do with this button is going to take me back up to my tools, my main tools page, which is, tools is number 3. So tools is right here. Okay? So you see what I'm doing? I'm bringing it to tools. All right? Just trying to show you so you understand what's going on. So here's tools. Click on this. Object. Interactive. Convert to button. All right, and then what I'm going to do is, again, the action will be go to page. And because I made notes, this is important. I have this all written down on a pad next to me, so I can keep referring to this because I want to make sure that I put the right numbers in here. If I don't put the right numbers in here, this isn't going to work. So you got to be a little bit careful. It's not hard. All you have to do is, come down and choose your action, which is go to page, and then put the page number in here. So I want this thing to go to my primary tools page, which is page 3. So I'm going to put 3 in there, and I'm going to hit enter. Always got to remember to hit enter. Okay, now down here, I'm going to click on this, and here's where I got to do some thinking. Do I want, let me put this aside for a second so that you can see what I'm thinking about here. Here's my pages. My choice is that I could either go to paint, let's see which is paint. I think this is paint. No, it's not. Okay, well anyway, I can either go to paint, all right, or I could go to, is that paint? There's paint. I could either go to this paint. So I could set these buttons to either go back to show you how to get to paint, or I could use these buttons secondarily to show the products. I can actually go from, I could go to the paint product page, I could go to the lumber product page, I could go to the, so that's my choice. If I wanted to go back to my main navigation and navigate to how to get there, that button does it, okay? So I could actually use this to just show the different products, which is what I think I'm going to do. What the heck? All right, so I go back to the page that I'm working on, which is tools. This one here, let's just quickly review. This one here is going to go to page 2, which is main navigation. That's correct. This one here is going to go to page 3, so that's correct, okay? So this one here, I'm going to click on it. Object, interactive, convert to button. The action is go to a page, and this page right there is painting. On my secondary level, my painting button or my painting page is page 7. So I hit 7. So now that button is set to go to page 7, which will look just like this, only it'll have painting products in it. Does this make sense to you guys? I hope it does. I hope you understand what I'm doing. I have two kinds of pages here. I got pages that show you how to get from the kiosk over to the actual department. And then once you get into the department, I'm going to have buttons that take you to this product so that when you get to the department, if you click on the button that's in the department, it'll take you in and show you what the products are. I hope this is making sense. When I get done and I show it to you, it probably will make sense, okay? So just bear with me. We'll get there, okay? So there is my first one done. Now, this is the lumber, okay? So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and I'm going to go Object, Interactive, Convert to Button. I have the same little action. These actions are all basically the same in our case here. Go to a page. And in this particular case, I'm looking for lumber. And lumber is number 9. So I'm going to put in number 9 and hit enter. Okay. So what do I got? I got page 7, page 9. So far, so good. So I'm going to click on this guy right here. Object, Interactive, Convert to Button. The action, always the same. Go to page. This one here is electrical. My electrical is on page 12, I believe. Before I do this, I forgot to write it. So let me go in and let me just verify that. 12 should be electrical. And it is. Okay, so 12 is electric. I forgot to make a note on that. Okay, so let's go back to 8 and fix this. No big deal. We're okay. So we come back into 8. Okay, click on this. And I'm going to open up my button. Here it is. Let's go to page, and that's electrical, which is page 12. Okay, page 12 is electric. I hit enter. Now, again, very important that once you type in the number of the page, and make sure you type in the right number, you hit enter. The reason that you're doing that is so that the number gets set in the mind of the panel. All right. All right. So now the next one here is the tools. So I'm going to go Object, Interactive, and I'm going to Convert to Button. Action, go to Page. And this one here is Tools. Tools is 8. So I'm going to go to 8. Is that correct? Tools is 8. Yes. Yes, 8. So that's 8 and hit Enter. Now finally, click on this guy. There we go. 8. Yes. Okay. Click on this guy. Object, Interactive, Convert to Button. Action, go to Page, and garden is 10. All right, so I'm going to make that number 10 and hit enter. All right, file save. Now let's take a look. Let's close this for a second, and let's go to our layers, and let's hide our artwork layer. And there you see all these things are buttons. Now, for some reason, I'm seeing the little fingers displaying here, but I'm not seeing them displayed here. But there's a secondary way that you could tell you've got an active button. When you roll over it, you see the little dashed line? Whenever you see the little dashed line, you know you got a functioning button. Okay? So there they are. These are all functioning buttons. And once again, like I say, just so that you don't get yourself upset, what I generally do is I generally double check myself. So let's bring the artwork back so we can do this. And I'm just going to quickly double check myself. And then this one here should be 2, and it is. This one here should be tools is 3, and it is. This one here should be paint, which is 11, and that's incorrect. So that one right there is paint. It should be 11. What did I have 7 for? 7 is paint. Okay, 11. I have the wrong paint. 11. Glad I caught that. Okay, so that's going to be 11. This one here is 9, lumber, and that's correct. This one here is 12, and that's electric, and that's correct. This one here is tools, and tools is 8, and that's 8, and that's correct. And then this one here finally is 10, and 10 is garden, and that's correct. Okay, so again, I have notes on a pad next to me. I have all the pages written down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and all the names next to it. The reason I'm doing this is so that I have no trouble doing what I'm about to do. So I got all these buttons working. These buttons are all going to be different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ignore this for the time being. I'm going to click on this guy. I'm going to hold the Shift key down and click on this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and I'm going to go Edit, Copy. Now again, why am I doing this? I am doing this because I'm trying to do everything in my power to save as much time as I possibly can. I don't want this to take forever. I don't want you to go nuts with this. I'm trying to make it as easy as I possibly can for you. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my page panel, and I'm going to move to my next page, which is page number 9. And I'm going to go Edit, Paste in Place. Before I do that, make sure I'm on the right layer. Yeah, I'm on the live button layer. Very good. Okay. Edit, Paste in Place. And there, they all come in. See, all your little buttons are now on that page. And they're all linked up properly. Okay? All right, so now we'll go back to our pages, and let's do the rest of them. So I'm going to double-click on 10. All right? Edit, Paste in Place. There they are. We'll go to 11. Edit, Paste in Place. And there we are. And then 12. Edit, Paste in Place. And there we are. Now we know that every single one of them on every one of those pages should be hitting the right button. All right, so now we got one thing going here. We have this button right here. This button takes you to Tools, but it takes you to Tools. It takes you to Tools on the top level. Okay, so I have 1 through 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, so 1 through 6, 7 through 12. So this is going to go to Tools. So this is on page 3. So here's what I'm going to do with this. Okay, this is something that I want you to pay attention to, because this is a little bit tricky, and I certainly don't want to confuse you. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to copy this. Edit, Copy. All right, and I'm going to go to my pages, and I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to go to page 9, Edit, Paste in Place. All right, now I'm going to make a note that I'm doing 9 through 12. All right, okay. So let's go to 10, Edit, Paste in Place. 11, Edit, Paste in Place. And 12, Edit, Paste in Place. Now, each one of these that I just copied and pasted, each one of these guys, they're all set up to go to page 3, which is not what we want. So I have to change the numbers on this. I want the electrical for the top group, okay? And I happen to know that that's page 6. So I'm going to change 3 to 6 and hit Enter. I probably have to bring this panel out, all right, so I can get at my pages. Okay, so there's 12, there's 11. Let's go to 11. Let me click on 11. Now 11 is still set to 3. It's not 3. It's not what I want. I want paint, and paint would be, where is paint? Paint. Okay, so paint would be number 7. That's number 7. Okay, paint would be number 7. Hit Enter. Okay, and let's go to the next one. Did I skip one? Maybe I did. Yeah, this is 3. So garden, the garden is number 4. So I'm going to change this to 4. Okay, and hit Enter. So let me just make sure I haven't messed this up. So I got Tools. Tools is number 3. That's correct. This one here is lumber. Lumber is still number 3. That's not correct. So lumber is actually number 5. So I changed it to 5. Hit Enter. Okay, and then the next one is garden, and garden is number 4, and that's correct. All right, I'm right there. And now let's go to 11. 11 is paint, and paint goes to page 7, and 7 is what? Paint. So 7 is correct. 7 is correct. That's going to go to 7, so we're in good shape. This is going to go to 7. Now this one here, click on the electric, and the electric is page 6, which is the electric. Page 6 and the electric is page 12. So I got to change this to page 12. Okay, 12. Now, what that means basically is if we were to come in here, if we were going to come in here and click on this button, let me click on this button. Click on this button right here. This button is going to take us, that's the wrong page. I need this to go to electric, which is 6. All right, see, I made another mistake. 6. Okay, so there's 6. That's the correct one, 6. This is going to take me back up to the little arrow. That's the whole point. Now, this one here is going to take me to paint, which is page 7, and I believe that's correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's correct. 7. And then the next one, I'm double checking this just to make sure. This one here goes to 4. That's correct. This one goes to page lumber, which is page 5. That's correct. And this one here is going to go to tools, and tools is 3. Okay, so now I have these all basically linked up properly. I got one thing left to do, and that is this. I'm going to go up to my main navigational page, to my first page. Now, here's where you got to really think. So I've got a series of buttons here. Now, if you take a look at this button takes me to page 3, and page 3 is the tools page. Well, I don't need to take, I'm already on this page. What I want to do is I want to take this button and I want to send myself down to the tools, the secondary tool panel, and that is number 8. So I'm going to change the number from 3 to 8, and now hit enter. That button, when I click on it, is going to take me down to 8, which is right here, and it's tools. Okay, so you understand what I'm doing? I'm adjusting the links on those pages to bring me down to these pages. Okay, and again, like I said, very important that you understand this. I have a listing of these pages all on a pad next to me, and all I'm doing is I'm double checking myself to make sure I'm going in the right direction here. Okay, so this one's going to go to 8. That one's now correct. So let's go to 4. 4 is going to take me to garden. I got to move this out of the way so I can get at it. So I'm going to click on this button right here, and right now it's set to go to page 4, which is garden, which makes no sense. Why do I have it connected to the page that's already showing? All I want to do is I want to change it to go down to the lower garden, which is on page 10. Page 10 is the lower garden. I hit enter, and now that's ready to go. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the next one, which is 5, and 5 is going to take me to lumber, and I guess, let's see here, click on this. There we go. So page 5 takes me to page 4. I think we're on page 5. That's, yeah, lumber. Okay, so this has got to be lumber. I'm going to change that to lumber, which is page 9, and hit enter. Okay, and let's keep going. We got like a couple more to go here. This one here, 6, and this one is electrical, and the electrical that I want is on 12. All right, so I changed that from 6 to 12 and hit enter. Okay, and finally this one right here, which is painting, click on that, and this is set to 7. Paint is actually on 11, so I click on that and I put 11 and hit enter, and now all I'm going to do is I'm just going to double check. Let me move this over here. And let me move this over here a little bit. I want to just double check all these things. Okay, so the first one is paint. That's going to take me down to 11. And 11 is paint, so that's correct. This one here is electric. And electric is going to take me to 12. There's 12. That's correct. Okay? See what I'm doing? I'm just double checking these links to make sure that I got them set up properly. Here's my lumber. I'm going to click on the lumber. That's going to take me to 9. Is 9 the right page? Yes, it is. On my list, 9 is lumber. So I know that that's correct. So now I'm going to go up here and double click on this. This one is going to be garden. So I click on this button, and garden is page number 10. So yes, it is. That's correct. Page number 10. We're good. So you see how this is showing me the links are going to the correct places. I got one left. That's right here. And that is to the tools. When I click on this, tools are number 8, and that says number 8. I'm good. Okay, so there I've double clicked, I've double checked everything. All of my links are done. I just want to quickly, go over what I did here. I simply added pages. I added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages, and if you look at the page, they look like this. So if we go back to the assignment, search to find the location of a specific item. So in a simplified way, what I've done is I've created 2 steps for you here. I've created the first step, which takes us to here, okay, which shows us tools, all right? Then if you click on this button right here, okay, it will take you down to page 8 to where the tools are. And then when you click on this, it will take you back up to page 3 to where the tools are here. Okay, so you understand what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to show you that with these buttons you can navigate all around this this kiosk and come up with a very cool interactive little device. Again, now I assume I got everything right. I double checked it. I think I got it all right. So this is what you have to do, and I hope that I did this in such a way that you're not confused by it. It is a little complicated, but it's not terribly complicated. It really involves this one little panel right here. There's your little panel. That's the panel, and basically all it is it's selecting the shape. Now remember, this is a very important point. Let me get this hidden. That is a shape that I created, okay? My buttons, they're my buttons. You see, I created these little rectangular shapes. They don't have a stroke or a fill on them. Well, actually, they do, don't they? No, they have no fill. They have no stroke. They're little invisible buttons, okay? That's all they are. They're buttons, but they're invisible. And that's fine because we don't really want to see anything. We just want them to fire. Now, the reason I did it this way was because I used this artwork that is basically just one big piece of art, okay? This is just one big piece of art. See, if I click on this, I've selected the entire piece of art. The piece of art was created in Adobe Illustrator. I brought the piece of art in and I placed it. So all this stuff is one part of the piece of art. So in order for me to make all these buttons, I literally have to go in and I have to create separate little individual colorless shapes and turn them into buttons. And then, of course, if I do this correctly, I have my pages in my page panel here. I should put them back on so you can see them. I have all of my pages in here, and this is my welcome page. This is my main navigation page. This page looks like it might be, which one is it? Okay, that's the tools. This is the yard and garden. This is my lumber and my electric and my paint. And then I have the secondary, okay, which in this case is tools, lumber, yard and garden, paint, and electric. And of course what I'm doing is, again, the 2 things that the assignment asked to do. Navigate around the store and search to find a specific item. That's what those panels are supposed to do. It would be nice if you could do both of these, but you know what? If you don't, I would be very happy if you were to do this part, the first part, and get this part right. I just wanted to show you that, you can really do something like this. And if this were a real kiosk situation, this would probably be a very long scrolling page. This page would scroll down, and it would show you a whole bunch of different products in here. But keep in mind, what we're doing is a mock-up. This is a mock-up. I mean, we do want it to function properly, but it's a mock-up. I mean, it's not, it's not meant to be 100% real. It's to demonstrate that we know what we're doing. That's what it's really all about. It's that we know how to work with this program, and we know what the concept of creating an image information-based design is all about. In this particular case, a kiosk. Okay, so I think I've said enough about this, and what I would like to do is I'd like to put this up online. I actually already put one up online, but I'm going to put this one up online anyway so that we can go in and I can just play with it a tiny little bit so I can show you what it does. And then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to show you how to do something almost the exact same thing in Adobe in Acrobat, make an interactive PDF. That's something I think you'll really enjoy as well. And it's something that'll be very valuable for you, because if you're creating samples to show to people, having an interactive PDF is pretty slick. So, you know, that's what we're going to do next. So now that I've got this, I'm going to go File, Save, just to save the whole thing. I'm going to go File, Publish Online. We've done this before. We did it last night. I did it last night with the other one. I might have to shut some stuff to do this. Hold on. Before I do that, let me cancel this. Let me just do this. Let me shut this. I want to make sure I have no trouble with this. Let me close that. Save changes. No. 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 And no. There we go. And now shut that. And clear clipboard. Yeah, I'm just clearing things up a little bit. This, I think I can leave that open. What's this now? I guess I can leave that. I don't think it's going to hurt. Okay, so now I'm going to shut this thing, and now let's go File, Publish Online, and we're doing exactly the same thing that we did before. I do have an existing document up there, but I think instead of updating the existing document, I'll leave that one alone, and I'm going to publish a new document. So it's already set for publish a new document. What I'm going to do is I'm going to call this Kiosk Week 4, and I'm going to type in WTH with dash, whoops, ADD additional with, come on, with dash ADD PGS. Okay, so it's Kiosk Week 4 with additional pages. Okay, and the description is a demonstration, kiosk demonstration. With navigation. Okay, and all pages, single, and then basically publish. All right, that's all it is. It's not that difficult. It'll do everything for you. It's publishing it, and you get this screen right here. Eventually. There it is. So it's going to upload your document. See, it's uploading the document. Okay, and what I'm going to do is copy. There's two things you could do. You could view your document, and you could copy the URL to share. This is the URL that takes you to your little kiosk. So one of the things that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to open up an InDesign file, and you're going to want to copy and paste this in. So I've actually got a page somewhere. Let me go over here and open it up, see if I can find this thing. Where? I think it's week 4. Publish online. Here we go. All right, let me have this for a second. It's going to come up. There we go. Okay, so now this is going to be, call this completed kiosk. And then I'm going to, what is that? Minion Pro, what's this font? Calibri. Okay, so let's go to Calibri. Calibri, and what was it? 14? Yeah, 14 bold. All right, so we'll do that, and bold, and 14. And then I'm going to enter and Control V. Oh, I guess I didn't copy it. Let me try it again. Copy it. There we go. All right, now let's put it in there. Control V. There we go. Okay, so there is my link. I have my link in there, and I'm going to save this. All right, which is what you should do. So you can see I have a version 1. This was one of the earlier ones I did. This is the one that I did last night. The Navigator is the one that we did last night. This is the completed kiosk. Let's view it. Let's take a look at it and see what it does. Okay. All right, so this is going to do the exact same thing. It's going to take you into your main area, okay? all of these buttons are going to function exactly like they did last night. This button here will take you back out. This will take you back in. This will take you to the painting one. Now, the major difference is that instead of this button taking you to the same panel, this button should take me down to my lower page. And look at that, it did. Isn't that great? Now, what we have here is we have our home panel, which if we click on this, it takes me back up to the main panel. So let's go to the lumber and click on the lumber. Now we go into the lumber. If I click on the lumber again, it takes me into the lumber. Okay, so you see how that works? It's actually cool. Now down here, these guys, this should take me to the electric, and it does. It takes me exactly to the electric, show the electric products. This should take me to the tools, and it does. It takes me to the tools. This takes me to the garden. If I click on this, it takes me back up to the garden. Okay, if I click on this guy right here, it takes me to the tools. Okay, now if I click on it again, it takes me to the tools. Isn't that great? So that's basically how this thing works. And I know it is actually pretty confusing when you look at this thing because there's a lot going on here, but you actually can create this interactivity just like we did. The most important thing to keep in mind here, and I'm going to close this because it worked just fine. The important thing to keep in mind in doing this, you don't really have to do all these other pages down here. If you want to do them, you can go ahead and do them. It's totally up to you. I'm not saying you can't, but I'm saying to you that the important thing is that you do this page right here, this page right here, this page, this page, this one, and this one, and that you link all this stuff up so that you can navigate around on here. Okay, there it is. Now that's it. I mean, that's it in a nutshell. That's the actual project. What you're going to do, I'm not exactly sure. Let's go in and take a look real quick at what the assignment instructions are. You know, try. I don't want to look at that. We don't need to look. Let's go down. Yep, rough out interface. Submission instructions. All right, so here we go. Name your file, DES-240, assignment 3, first and last PDF. Submit a multi-page PDF of all your Oh, I'm sorry. This is week 3. Wrong. Let me go to assignments. This has got to be week 4. I got to see what week 4 is because this is week 4. You're going to submit that as week 3. We got to see what week 4 is. That's what I'm really interested in. Assignment. There we go. All right, so let's see what we got to do with that. Let's open this up a little bit and let's scroll down. Let's go down and let's see what this thing tells us to do. Let's see. All right, name your file. Here we go. All right, use the design template. This looks like the same thing. Yeah, well, I guess it's it. Same thing, mock-up. Submit a multi-page PDF of your, upload your file to Behance portfolio and paste and link it to the comments. Email and link your, oh, see, I don't know. I was under the impression that you have to do what I just did there. That's what you should be doing. Well, anyway, this is what you're supposed to be sending in, a PDF. That's what you're going to be doing. Submit a multi-page PDF presentation of your screens and mock-ups for grading. Load the PDF to your Behance portfolio site. But here's what I want to show you. This is really what I want to show you. So really, you've got to end up making a PDF of this. But let me show you something that's really great. I'm going to go in here now. Now, once again, keep in mind that what I did was I created all of these. All right. So what I'm going to start off by doing is I'm going to double click on Acrobat Pro, and I'm going to go to Tools, and I'm going to create a PDF, okay, from multiple files, and I'm going to combine files. All right. So it's Tools, Create PDF from multiple files, Combine files. Hit Next. All right. Now I can come over here and I can grab my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Okay, 7 different panels. And I can drag and drop them right in. Now, here they are. Okay? Now, the order is not terribly important. The only one that I would say really, the only 2 that I really want you to have in front is I'd like you to have your welcome screen as number 1. You can just drag and drop it and make it number 1. And this is your main navigation. It should go in the order of welcome, the welcome screen, main navigation, and then to me it doesn't matter all that much the ones that you have here. But once again, what you should probably do is you should probably keep some track of the page, where the pages fall. So my first page is, now this is for my PDF, okay? My page 1 is open, page 2 is main, nav, okay? Page 3 is electric, and again, I'm making notes. Let's see here. That's electric, and this one is garden. That's page 4. Okay, page 5 is lumber. And page 6 is paint. Okay, and page 7 is tools. Right, so page 7 is tools. Okay, and I'm going to hit combine. All right, because what I have basically is I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got 7 completely different PDFs that I'm going to combine into one, right, like that. There it is. And there, if you look at this, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You also have them over here. Okay, you can see there's 1, 2, so you can scroll up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so there you have your 7 pages. Let's double click and get you up to 1. Now what I want to do with this is, what I'd like to do with this is I'd like to set up the same sort of interaction. I'd like to have the same kind of interaction occur that I did on my my online one. All right, so in order to do that, we have to start creating links in here as well. All right, now this is something that we can do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here, and here's your link. So I can either add web, add edit web or document link, auto create web link from URLs, remove web links, append all links on page, and view web links. Well, out of all of these ones, the one that makes most sense is add a web page or a document link, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing some linking. We're going to be linking the documents, just like we did in the other one. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to pay close attention to the fact that I have all of my pages in here, okay? And I've got my first page selected, which is my welcome screen, and I come up to where it says links here, and I add, edit a web or document link. I get this little cursor. See it? It looks like a little crosshairs. And I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to drag a little shape. Watch this. Drag a little shape. Now, this is very easy. Once I do this, I get this little panel. This is really not hard. This is what I'm trying to make you understand here. Okay? The link type is an invisible rectangle. There's several types in here. You want the invisible rectangle. This is just, you just want it to be a invisible rectangle. And then you have go to a page view, open a file, open a web page, or a custom link. Simple. You're just going to go to a page view. Really not a problem. Okay, so all you're going to do is make sure it reads invisible rectangle and go to page view, and you hit next. And then what you get is this, a little window that says create go to view. And then it says, it tells you exactly what to do. This is not hard. Just follow me. Use the scroll bar, mouse, and zoom tools to select the target view, then press Set Link to create the link description. I know where I want this to go. I want this to go to the very next page. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to click on my scroll bar, and I'm going to scroll to the next page right there. That's the page. I'm going to click Set Link. And now that link has been created. Just that simple, okay? So now I'm going to scroll to page 2. And using the same little tool, you see my little crosshairs are still active here? I'm going to come here, and I'm going to sit in the middle with this one. I'm going to click and drag a little shape over it, and I get the exact same thing. Invisible rectangle, go to a page view. I click, and these won't, once you set these in, they won't change unless you change them. And all these links that you're going to create, they're all essentially going to be the same kind of a link. So you don't have to worry about changing anything. It's all just basically invisible rectangle, go to a page view, and click on next. You get this where it says create, go to view, use the scroll bars. I'm going to scroll. This one I know is going to go back up to the first page, so I'm going to actually bring this back up to the first page and hit set link. And you see it brings me back in, and now I have my second link done. This is very simple. So let's go over here and let's do the painting one. Now I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to drag a shape out, invisible rectangle, go to a page view. Now, as I told you, the paint is on page 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click next, and I'm going to scroll this thing down to page 6. Where are we at here? Page 4, 5, 6. There we go. I'm looking here. You see where it says it right there? Now, if I move this out of the way, do you see what it's doing? It's taking me from the kiosk to the paint. Okay, so you see right there, it says page 6. And as I told you, I wrote down the page numbers. So I know exactly where I'm going. So all I do is hit set link, and now I have a link from there. I'm going to do the same thing on this one. All right. Now, the unfortunate part of this particular project is that you cannot copy and paste these like you can in InDesign. You actually have to go page to page to page and do them all. So this is a little time consuming, and I'm going to do it because I have plenty of time left, and I want you to see me do it enough that you guys, if you want to do this, which you should do, this is very impressive if you do this. You should go in and try to do this. All right, so this is going to go to, let me cancel. I have to actually create. That view is already created. Yeah, let me go to this one. Create electric. All right, so the electric one is going to go to next. The electric is going to go to page 3. Okay, so that's got to go to page 3. And there we go. Okay, and now if that's electric, that's electric. Set link. That's it. And now I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to do this guy right here. This is lumber. And again, you'll see it doesn't change. Invisible rectangle, go to page view, next. And then all I'm going to do is lumber is page 5. So I'm going to come down to page 5. There we go, page 5. There it is, see? There it is, set link. Okay, and now I got to come over here, click on that guy, and excuse me, this is going to go next, and this is going to go to tools, which is 7. So actually the other thing I can do is I can come up here and I can click on 7 and hit enter, and it brings me down to 7. So that's another way you can do it, and then hit set link. Okay, and that one's done. So the only one I got left here, I got 2 left. I got the kiosk, and I got this. So let's go to here, and let's click on this guy right there. And this is lawn and garden. Hit next. And lawn and garden is on 4. Okay, so I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to put in 4 and hit enter and set link. Okay, and now that should be correct. Okay, I hope that's correct. Let's go to kiosk. We'll see in a minute. Let's go to kiosk, and I'm going to set the kiosk. The kiosk is going to go to page 2. All right, so what I'm going to do is, let's see if that's on it. Yeah, it's already on that. So I'm going to hit next, and we'll set link to 2. All right, so that is that page. Now let's go on to the next page here. And what we're going to do here is this one here, we're going to set the kiosk. All right, we're going to set the kiosk. And this one's going to go to next, and the kiosk is going to go to page 2. Okay, and set link. And hopefully that did it. Let's see. I think it did it. All right, let's go to electric. Let's set this up so you can navigate to the electric if you want. Go to page view next. Set link. This is going to go to electric is going to be in page 3. Huh. This is page 3, right? You're on page 3. So page 3, hit enter, and then set link. This guy here is going to be lumber. Lumber is going to be page, lumber is 5. Enter. Yep, there we go. Set link. That's right. And now tools. I think I got tools to do yet. There we go. Next. And tools are going to go to, tools is page 7. Let's go to 7. Enter. There's 7. Set link. Okay, and now here, yard and garden. And next. And again, I'm going to come up here and I have my listing. Yard and garden is 4. Click on 4. Enter. See, and it goes to yard and garden, set link. So this is actually working just fine. So what I'm doing literally is I'm just going page by page. Now I'm going to go to page 4, and I got to do all the same thing on page 4. Go to the kiosk. First thing I'm going to do is click on the kiosk. The kiosk is going to go to page 2. So I come up here and I choose page 2. Hit enter. It brings me to page 2. Okay. I know it's page 2 because see in the middle there, set link, and that's done. And then I'm going to come up here and I'll click on paint and hit next. And paint, as I say, I've got it written down here as page 6. So I put page 6 in there. Hit enter. There we go. It goes to page 6. See? Hit set link. So you've got to do this for every page. That's the only problem. And I'm going to actually do this because I got plenty of time, and I want to make sure I do it enough that you, if you decide to do this, that you really know how to do this so that it'll work for you. All right? Now, what did I do here? Did I actually create one? I didn't. Let me go to painting here, or to electric. There we go. And next. And this is going to be electric, which is what page? 3. 3, enter. And that goes to electric. Let me double check. There it is, and hit set link. Very good. All so far so good. Let's come over here on this one, and let's go to lumber. Click on this guy. Next, lumber is on 5. Let's go to 5 here. 5, enter. Always remember enter. And then 5, see it's lumber, set link. Good. And now we got 2 more here. We got to go this guy. All right. Click on that. And then next, tools are 7. And click on 4 and change it to 7. Enter. And it goes to tools. Very good. Hit set link. Okay. So this is going to create interaction, just like the same thing that we did before. Click on this guy right here. Go to page view. Next, this is garden, and garden is number 4. So this is set for number 4. I'm just going to hit number 4, enter, and then set link. And there we have it. Now I'll click on 5. We're on to the next one. Let's go to kiosk, set the kiosk up. I'm always setting the kiosks to go back to page 2. At least I think I am. I think I did it on the one. I'll double check it in a second. This is going to go to page 2. Enter. Okay. And set link. Now let me just go back. Yeah, I did do the kiosk. Okay, so there we go. We're good. All right, so paint. I'm going to create my shape. See, and you don't really have to do much because you've got this tool already going. So now all you got to do is go through the whole process of doing all the pages. Okay, go to next. And if you make a list, like I did, it's very easy because you have all the numbers right there. You can just look at the numbers and make sure that you hit the right number. That's really all it's about, okay? So paint in this particular case is not 5, it's 6. I'll change it to 6, hit enter, it goes to 6, okay? I hit set link, and now I can go to electric, okay? And next, and set link. Electric is, again, 3, hit enter, okay, and set link. And now lumber, come over to lumber, and next. And lumber is on 5, and actually this is 5, so let me just reiterate 5, enter. Yeah, there we go, and set link. It's going to go to 5, should go to 5, stay to 5. And now this one is tools. Let's go to tools, click on tools, make a shape over tools, next. And then tools is 7, so let's change 5 to 7, and hit enter, and then set the link. All right, and then let's go to the last one on this one, which is yard and garden. Next, and yard and garden is 4. So let's come up here and change it to 4. Hit enter and set the link. Now we've got 2 more to go. We've got 6 and 7. Okay, so I hope you're getting this and understanding what I'm doing. I'm creating an interactive PDF. In the end, when I get done doing this, you're going to have the exact same sort of interaction using this PDF as you get with that thing that I put online. And you guys should be able to put that online. And let me tell you something, if you send a link with that thing online to your associate deans or whoever you're supposed to send it to, you're going to really impress them because that's going to be something to see. That's actually an interactive piece of work, and it's great. So I highly recommend that you do it. Here is my kiosk. This is going to be page 2. I just got to continue this process until I got the last 2 pages done, and it goes going to go to page 2. You see, it goes right to page 2. Set link. It comes back down. So now I'm going to go to the painting. I'm going to select the painting, put a button around it, set the link. The painting again is on 6. So that's actually 6 is there already. So set link. We're good. Okay, electric. So we go to electric, and electric is next. Electric is 3. So we're going to change this from 6 to 3, and hit enter. It goes to 3, and we set the link. Okay. Then we come over here to lumber. We've only got 1 page to go, so bear with me. Next, lumber is on page 5. So we hit 5, enter. It goes to 5. You can see it goes to 5. It's the right place. Hit set link. And then I got tools over here. All right. And next, and then I'm going to go to tools, which is on 7. So that's 6 going to change to 7. Hit enter, and we set the link. It's really not hard. Just a little time consuming, that's all. And really doesn't take that long. I haven't been working on this that long. Next. And then this one is garden, which is number 4. So 6 changes to 4. And hit enter and set the link. I think I did this on every one of them. I hope I did, at any rate. I'm doing it now. So that's an important thing. So I go to kiosk, and kiosk is going to go to page 2. So we come up here, and I know that's page 2. And hit enter. And let me move this out of the way to verify it. I did it. Set the link. Very good. All right, painting again. This is the last one, so we're almost done. Next, and the painting is going to go to 6. All right, so this is on 7. We change it to 6. Hit enter. Enter brings us to the page, okay, and we verify it by making sure that the path is heading to paint. Set the link. Now, electric, same thing with electric. We're going to drag the little shape out and hit next. And we're going to move this over here so we can see it. Electric is on 3. So we'll hit 3, hit enter, and set the link. And then let's go to lumber. All right, lumber. And next. And then lumber is on 5. So let's change the number to 5, hit enter, and you can see it and set the link. And then we come over here, we're almost done, tools, next, and then tools is located on 7. So this is actually 7, so let's hit 7, enter, and it doesn't change because that's where we are. Hit set the link. And then finally the yard and garden, which the yard and garden is on what? 4. And let's change this to 4 and then hit enter and set the link. All right, so now we've done it. We've basically done it. I hope I've done it enough that you understand what the story is here. So let's go file save. All right, and let's save it. I'm going to save it to my desktop. Choose a different folder. I'm going to just save it right to my desktop. And I'm going to call this Interactive, I-N-T-E-R-A-C-T-I-V-E, Interactive, right on my desktop. Hit save. Okay? And it's saving that file. Now, watch what happens. If I close this guy, all right, and if I go File, Open, and go to my desktop, and look for Interactive, right there, open it. Okay, watch this. If I click there, look, see, it's a button. See, it takes me in. Now watch, if I click this, it should take me back out. And it does. Isn't this great? You got the same interaction. Now, if I come over here to Tools, it takes me to Tools, see? And if I come back to Kiosk, it takes me to the second page. And if I go to Lawn and Gardens, it takes me to Lawn and Gardens. And if I go to Kiosk, it takes me back to my main navigation. And if I go to Lumber, it takes me to Lumber. And if I click Kiosk, it takes me back up to main navigation. If I go to Paint, it takes me to Paint. Go to Kiosk. And if I click on Electric, it takes me to Electric. Come on, you guys, you got to love this, right? I mean, this is cool, isn't it? There's your assignment for the week. Basically, if you can pull this off, it would be phenomenal. And I got to tell you something, this would be impressive. If you have this thing and if you utilize this thing in your portfolio, people are going to be impressed. And it is sure a heck of a lot better to do than just preparing a flat and uninteresting, non-interactive PDF. And believe me when I tell you, both of the things that I demonstrated here tonight, you can do. Neither one of these are that difficult. All you have to do is just watch what I did. Take your time, make some notes. I really didn't do much more than just make sure when I'm in InDesign that I note the page number and what is on the page so that when I go to create the links, I know exactly what page to reference. And it's the same with this PDF. I have the page numbers and what's on the page written down right next to me. So as I go along and as I make these links, all I have to do is go in there and, you know, click on these links or you know, set the links to the page. And it's all very simple. One of the other things that you have to remember to do, anytime you change a page number here or when you change a page number in InDesign, in both cases, when you put the number in, you always hit enter. That's the most important thing, because if you don't hit enter, then the page doesn't get captured in the memory of the program. Okay, so really you can do this. I guarantee you can do this. I was able to do it. I demonstrated it. I showed you exactly how it can be done. This is what you should do. Okay, so there you go. The only thing I got is I got a little bit of time left. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in. Let's take a look at what you have to do for your assessment and for your discussion. We'll talk a little bit about discussion and a session, and then I'll call it a night. Okay, so week 4 assessment, presenting an interactive interface. Let's see what it says here. All right, let's see what it says here. Presentation is also a key, is also an approval from your client or management board. Your presentation is presented and how you feel work for your blah, 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 blah. When you present an interface to a client, it's nice to be able to show the interactive features. Okay, closely simulate the flow between the screens interaction. Set up your presentation in InDesign and save your presentation as an interactive PDF. This will allow you to use slideshows and button features in InDesign, which will make a PDF more lifelike presentation. Okay, so dig it. Listen to me very carefully. What I showed you how to do, both in Adobe InDesign and both in Adobe PDF, you can do. You have access to both of the things that I showed you how to do. And it is my hope that you use one or both of them in this final assessment. I really do. If you use the one online, okay, if you use the one online, let me go to my, my publish. All right, I'm going to go back to my navigated piece here. Let me copy this. Copy it. All right, and I'm going to come into my. Let's go in. Let's create another page. Here we go. Control V. Enter. Okay. You need to get your. This is Adobe.com. You need to get this address. You saw how I got the address, and what you should do is that address has to be sent to me and has to be sent to whoever they tell you to send it to, okay? And then you're going to submit, if you do the PDF version, you're going to submit the interactive PDF version. Both of these things that I showed you are interactive. And I got to tell you the truth, you can't get better interaction than what we got going here. This is just great. This is all very good stuff, okay? All right. This is what you should be doing. This is what you need to do. Okay? So do this, and the other thing that I highly recommend that you do is I highly recommend that you come in here and you do the interactive PDF. Like I said, both of these things, you saw how I did it. There's no mystery there. All you have to do is remember that you need to set the panels up. You're going to end up with approximately 8 pages, okay? And you just have to know what's on each one of these pages. Number 1 is my welcome screen. Number 2 is my main navigation screen. Number 3 is my electronics. Number 4 is my garden. And it doesn't really matter what order these are in as long as you know the numbers so that you can link them up properly. Number 5 is lumber. Number 6 is paint. And number 7 is tools. That's really, and you can see the pages are right there. And what I did literally was I used my my links, and I used the first link, which is add web or document link, okay? And I just used my little page indicator up here to indicate the page. I want to go to page 7. So I put 7 in and hit enter, and it takes me to page 7. If I click on this, put in page 1 and hit enter, it takes me to whatever page I put in. And then all you have to do is set the view. It's really very simple. You can definitely do this. All right? So there's your assignment, and there's your assessment. I guess the assessment would be for you to come up with the interactive one. I would say probably do this for your assessment. Okay, I did it twice here. There's my first kiosk. Let me go back to my, there we go. Let's go back to this. Okay, so there you go. There's my kiosk. There's the other kiosk. This is the other one that I did. Okay, there's the other one. So I got both of them up there showing. And then, like I said, for the assignment, you're going to submit a PDF. But it would really be nice if you could submit this as an interactive PDF. I showed you how to do it. I really do hope that you take advantage of your time and try this out. Not even to impress me, but because it is something that you absolutely should know how to do. You're going to become more valuable. The more stuff that you know how to do like this, the more valuable you'll become. Okay? So there you go. That's it. Now, I guess what I'll do is I'll talk very briefly about the week 4 here. So let's go back to assignments for week 4. And there's a couple of things I just want to point out to you. And that is that, you know, don't forget your career integration. You go in and just talk about what, you know, you feel the course has done to help you. And the discussion is very important. that you go in and you do your discussions. I'm going to talk a little bit briefly about this because I have a few more minutes to kill, and then I'll call it a night. So what we're going to be talking about is the future of user experience in information design. And as I said to you, I basically did a Google search on the future of user experience, and I came up with tons and tons and tons of really good sites. So that's all you have to do, really. Make sure that you hit the minimums. Make sure that you answer the questions, okay? When you get down to your prompt, discuss how you imagine the future of information design will be. Make sure that you think about that, and look when you go in and do your research, see what other people are talking about to get some ideas. You know, you don't have to take this upon yourself to just use your own thought on this. Do some research and see what other people are talking about. If I'm not mistaken, let me see here. Information design mean to you? What is the changing face of modern graphic design? Where was it? I know I had this. Let me just see. Let's go to a new one of these guys. Okay, let me go to Google. Google, hit enter. All right, so we go to Google. All right, so what is the future of oops. What is the future of user experience design? Okay, so here we go. Actually, look at the very first one. There will be UX design in 5 years. Well, where will UX design be in 5 years? As a matter of fact, this is exactly the page that I think I came up with and was talking to you about last week. So basically, all I'm doing is wasting a little bit of time here. I got a few more minutes to go, so I'm just rehashing this. The important thing for you to understand is I didn't do very much. I simply went into Google and I Googled what is the future of user experience, and I came up with, I'm telling you flat out, everything you need. They're all right here. Everything you need. All you have to do is, you know, open one of these things up and read a little bit of this stuff, and I guarantee you, you're going to find everything that you need. Let's see what this says. The future of user. Let's see what this tells you. All right, what is the future of UX design? Humans are pretty simple creatures. While our brains might be capable of complex thoughts, we are able to solve complicated problems. The things that make us feel happy are straightforward. One of those things is success. We like when things work out. This already tells me a lot. I mean, first of all, it tells us that, you know, we are capable of dealing with complex things, but we prefer to be dealing with simple, straightforward things. So one of the things that I might say that the future of UX design would be that we would be heading in a direction where things become very simple and straightforward, and that they work out without being a lot of headaches, without having a lot of headaches associated with them. Whether that means successfully opening a door, successfully traveling out of space, the desire is a huge driving force. To illustrate this point, look no further than simple devices with which we interact every day. The door. Who knows who created the first door? I don't know how this really relates, but I'm sure if you keep reading down here, let's see. If I find something interesting, by the time something handle, push me, let's see, no matter what side you have. Of course, automatic doors. Maybe someday our machines will render us humans asleep. Ooh, that's not very good. Maybe someday our own machines will render us obsolete. Youch. Will UX design ever disappear? Let's talk about doors for a moment. Consider the first door was believed to have been created 5,000 years ago. Means for every time you have ever felt embarrassing pushing open the doors, a guy 5,000 years ago felt exactly the same way. And again, this isn't all that helpful. I'm sure you'll find better ones, but let's see. Think pull handle. Yes, designed to create human-friendly interfaces, both the real and the digital world. Let's see. Third, the instinct we have to pull a handle may change, but it may take a heck of a lot longer than 5,000 years. Till that happens, it's up to us US designers to create human-friendly interfaces for both real and digital world. But on long enough timeline, UX design disappear completely. Of course, the The robot's taking over, meant to be a joke, bad ideas. We should never know what's happened. It's not like we'll flip a switch and suddenly. I'm still not seeing anything yet. Important to do is not exploded. Today it's not if useful app. Here, that's beautiful. Today, nowadays, it's not enough to have a useful app to complete. It has to be beautiful and easy to use. Well, that's an important point. UX design is becoming more and more specialized. Here we go. It is no longer sufficient to just be a UX designer. Do you focus on UI design, interaction design, visual design, voice-guided UI? As we head into the future, these specifications, specializations will become more important as design itself becomes more important. See, now here you go. Now this begins to answer the question. So I guess what I'm trying to say is take a look at a few of these things and pull out some excerpts from them that sort of answer the questions. What I generally do when I have to do something like this is I generally write the questions down on a piece of paper. So when I'm in here tinkering around and looking, I look for things like this, okay? As we head into the future, these specializations become more important in design in a sense, okay? So UX design is also becoming more specialized, no longer sufficient to be just a US designer. To focus on UA design, interaction design. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I do. Yeah, so again, you know, so there's a lot of these. There's an awful lot of these in here. And again, I could look at another one, but I think basically you generally get the idea. Again, what I did, bring it up to the top. What is the future of user experience design? And I really think that you're going to find what you need in here. You know, I mean, here, this one might be a little bit, may go in a totally different direction. There's a background, the rise of UX design. Let's see what else it says here. UX design today, talks about today. Next for UX design, the future of UX design. Here we go, new markets. UX design, as we know it, has evolved not only today, but the ubiquity of smart technology, TVs, PCs, smartphones. Also because developing economies are increasingly focused on the service industry. So you see, again, you know, you can find what you're looking for in here. I mean, that's really what I'm trying to say. And all you did really was do a very quick Google search for the future of user experience design. Okay? So I guess that's basically it. My final thought would be that if you could just concentrate on getting week 3 done. If you haven't finished anything yet, concentrate on getting week 3 done. Focus on getting good buttons. Focus on getting clean, very easy to understand layouts. And you should have one for your welcome screen, one for your main navigational panel or screen, one for each of the product categories that they list, depending upon whether you're using Walmart or Michael's or Target or Lowe's, whatever ones you're using, they have specific categories. Go online, take a look at what they're doing, try to match the look as much as you can. Use the websites to help you get pictures and to get you some copy that you need, and then build one main panel, and then make that panel based on the mock-up that they gave you. They gave you a template. Use the template. They give it to you to use, and they say you can use it. Save yourself the work. Use that template. I did. And then basically put your panel together, put your main panel together, and working with your main panel, work your navigational panels, the one that shows you how to get from the kiosk to the department, work it off of that. Save each one as an individual PDF, so you end up with approximately 7 PDFs, which you're going to load into InDesign, and then you're going to link up your pages. After you get it done, just the way I showed you how to do it, you can upload it to that site. Make sure that you save the link. So, and check it. Make sure you check it and save it. If you make any mistakes, go in and fix the mistakes. The mistakes that you make can be fixed. If you saw how I did it, I had some numbers that were wrong, and I fixed them. It's doable, not hard. And then basically create a PDF just like I did, and your PDF is going to be created in Acrobat. And then you'll see you're going to end up with like a 7-page PDF, and just go in like I did and create your little links, okay? and your links will take you to your different panels. Okay? And then you will have an interactive PDF that you'll submit, which will be, by the way, very impressive. I promise you, it'll be very impressive. It is very impressive, you have to admit. And then, of course, that other nice thing online, which is also very impressive. So, you know, it's worth it. Okay? I guess that's it. I mean, I just don't have anything else for you at this point. I hope everything's good. Keep in mind that Thursday night, I am in Blackboard from 7 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time till 11 Mountain Time. And on Friday, from 9 a.m. Mountain Time till 12 p.m. Mountain Time. And then again on Saturday night from 7 p.m. to 12 p.m. Mountain Time. If you have any need of any kind of help, you can either send me an email, you can give me a phone call, or you can come and see me in any of those time frames. I am more than willing to try to help you more than I have already. Okay? Good luck to every one of you. I've really enjoyed having you all in my class, and I hope that you all get it together and get this stuff in. So you all have a good night.